Hi guys, my name is Ryan Eastley. I'm a property investor from South Wales in the UK. I've actually been investing in property for over 7 years now, and the reason for this video is to outline the 3 ways that you can work with us in 2025 and onwards. We have a lot of people reach out with money to invest but not sure what to do with it or how to get into property, and this video breaks down exactly how you can do that, 3 different strategies that you can do it with, an example per project. So firstly, the reason there's only 3 ways of doing this is actually a good thing, because if we gave you 10 different things you could invest with, everyone gets very overwhelmed and complicated. So my basis is to keep things simple, and for the past 3 years we've been having people just build portfolios in South Wales and the UK, and it's been going very well. We've helped hundreds of people, been amazing. But the reason for presenting this video and for kind of like, I guess, expanding the business is we have a lot of people reach out who, like I said, have capital in the bank but are not sure what their options are. And there's a lot of people, unfortunately, who reach out who don't have the financial means to invest in building a portfolio straight away. They have to wait, they got to delay things, etc. So my mindset, because I love to help people, the whole reason I started this company and started the companies that I've been building myself, is to help as many people as possible do exactly the same sort of thing that I'm doing myself: invest in property, build a portfolio, etc., make money from property, and just to help as many people as possible who actually want to have a long-term relationship where we can help them and they could just get on with their life. That's the whole point of this, or the whole point I started this business. Or businesses, because there's a couple of them. So long story short, that's the reason for 3 of them, to keep things super simple. So the past 3 years we've had 1 offer in terms of saying, look, we can just build your portfolio. Now we're going to have 3, and not to complicate it, I'll break down each one and how they almost in a way correlate towards each other, where 1 is for capital building, 1 is for portfolio growing, and 1 is for really a juicy little project. But I'll break this all down for you. So the first way you can work with us, which is kind of one of our favourites, and the reason I say that is we've had a lot of interest in this coming into 2025. In fact, we've had a couple of clients at the end of 2024 really push on and get on board just straight away. Basically, it's for an angel investment loan. And an angel investment is literally just a loan. It's to keep it super simple, because that's all it is really. Now, when I say a loan, it's a loan of X amount over X interest over X period. So for example, we've got a client at the moment. So this client, you can see that. So he's invested 55k into us, and we give him a 10% per annum return over a 3-year period. So that means that all he's got to do is, which is already onboarded, he's cracking on with it, which means he's transferred us 55 grand, and in 3 years time, we give him X amount of money back. So 55k, and then he gets a 10% per annum interest, which is over triple the amount that you'll get in the banks, by the way. And then, so within, the first year is up to 61k, then every year that compounds. So if you've got 55k invested, you do 10%, which is around about 61k, for example, with the interest on top. The 10% is now based upon the new increased value. So I think he's going to make around about 19 grand of profit over 3 years from doing nothing. He just puts 55k into it, and then on the back end, he gets, I believe, about 79k in his bank again, and he's not had to do anything. So it's the easiest way to work with us. It's the lowest risk, because we give a personal guarantee to that investor, and we give personal guarantees to every angel investment loan. And what a personal guarantee is it says that we will agree this loan and personally guarantee that in X agreed time frame, we will give you that money back plus interest. And if we don't, then you will have full reign of our portfolio and everything that we own. It's personally guaranteeing everything that we own, that we'll give you that loan back with the capital and interest included at the agreed date, to put it simply. So I hope that explains that. But you can see with these sort of loans, at the 55k, for example, it's a perfect example of someone who's got the lowest risk way of working with us. It's personally one of my favourites because I love minimising risk, and I love scaling hard. So if you've got 55k in somewhere and you're getting like an 8 to 10% per annum every single year return, your money's working way harder than it is in a bank. Like I think my banks are doing like 3 to 4% at the moment. So you're almost tripling the actual interest you can get at the bank, right? Which is pretty damn awesome. And from our point of view, it builds a long-term relationship, because when you get paid at the back end, you've made profit. You can trust the person to work with them, And the beauty with this exact client that actually angel invest with us now, at this example, is he's looking to increase his pot from 55k to 100k with us so that he can invest later on and build a portfolio, which I think is really smart. And it means he can buy all in cash later on, but more on that later in the video. But just in terms of working with us, this is a prime example where someone's got 50k sat in the bank. It's it's not impossible, but it's very difficult to be able to afford to build a portfolio that quickly with just 55k. So it's a perfect way of them investing with us in a secure way, knowing that they've got peace of mind that they'll increase their capital with us. And we know on the back end that in 3 years' time, when we give their money back, or 5 years' time, if they want to increase it that much, that when they get the money back, they've got an increased capital that they can invest heavily then, which is going to be double what they actually invested in the first place, right? So I hope that gives some context on that. And if this didn't make any sense, drop it in the comments. I'll do another video on it. So the second way of working with us is our longest ongoing way of actually people working with us. And the reason I say that is when I started this business about 3 years ago, a lot of this, I kind of designed the whole business upon helping people do exactly what I'm doing anyway. So I've always been investing in property. I've always been buying single-let, buy-to-let myself. Social housing involved as well, but mainly buy-to-lets. And my idea was to help other people do the same. And that ended up scaling to the point where I'm having people from Scotland, Cornwall, Bournemouth, UK based, and now we're doing Netherlands, we're doing America. We got clients in Asia right now, and even India recently as well. So anyone and everywhere can work with us. Location doesn't limit who we can work with, to put it simply. And I created the company to help people from anywhere, quite simply, because at the end of the day, one thing that you'll know when you're buying property is that apart from doing the odd lending check, you don't actually have to be in the country. You don't have to be there in person. A lot of it, 99% of it can be done online. Google, Zoom calls and phone calls and WhatsApps and everything, which is obviously with your phone, right? So the more, because we're doing so many projects a year, doing like 60, 80 projects a year now, we can see through repetition, through doing the projects, that everything that we're doing, people don't need to be in South Wales to do it. We've got the solicitors, we've got the brokers, we've got the builders, we've got the stages, we've got the agents, letting agents and selling agents. We've got the whole team that I'm using anyway for my own portfolio. So long story short, that's the second way to work with us, because we've already got the team. It's basically people come up to us with like 100k, they live in Cornwall, for example, and they want to, or London, wherever they may be, hours away, and they want to build a portfolio. It's much cheaper in South Wales. Like property prices in London are like 500k, property prices in Bournemouth and Cornwall, 400k. In South Wales, it's 80 to 100k typically. If it's run down, 80k. If it's modernised, 100 to 120. So a quarter of the price, which means that your barrier to entry is much lower, and your returns are actually much higher, which I'll feed into on the example shortly. Because I'll give an example on a portfolio client, pretty much. So long story short, that's the way this is all working. So people come up to us with 100k, for example, they want to build a portfolio, they want to see how they can actually work with it, and we have the team. We sit down with them, say, look, you're in this position, how can we help you? And if we can't, we say, but if we can, we say, look, we've got the team, let's crack on, let's do it, and let's help them. So building an actual buy-to-let portfolio in South Wales, because we just do residential portfolios, residential buy-to-lets, that's all we do, because simplicity is really key here. And my build team, my solicitors, my brokers, they're all based upon bridging finance if needed, but typically just doing cash buys if needed, renovating, running down properties, finding them, renovating them, refinancing them, and getting them rented out, and just rinse and repeat that model. It's exactly what I do for myself, and it's exactly what I do for other people. So an example of a BRR, and something that one of our clients actually proceeded with in 2024. So it's a good example, right? So he has about 200k to invest, but he wanted to start with 100k just to do a project start at the start, to kind of just get things going, get some momentum going, and just do one project to build the trust, to kind of see how we operate, because obviously we're 4 hours away. He wants to see that the team is doing a good job, so that on the back end, he's got a property that's rented out, and we can actually just hammer this and really aggressively build, which I think is amazing, because you're building trust at the start and then hammering at the end. So the project itself is this project, this house, rundown property, very dated, And I've actually got a YouTube video on this exact property, which I'll put in the link in the description. So be sure to basically watch that video. Highly recommend it, and it's going to give a really good context on pretty much exactly what's going on, and it'll give us some context on this project pretty much. So long story short, bought a £70,000, so a good round number for the video. The refurb is £38,000, so that's the refurb quote, contingency and project management. So you protect yourself with contingency. Project management means we manage it, so the whole cost included of everything of the refurb, 38 grand. Then you got your legal fees, then you got your broker fees if needed, especially on the back end, so mortgage broker, excuse me. Then you've got the survey fees. So typically with every purchase we do, we get a building report on it. So if you're renovating the internal of a property, you want to make sure that you're also getting a level 3 building survey on the property as well, because the level 3 will do the structure of the property, basically report on the structure and the ground and the roof. So you got the roof report, you got the structure, building report itself, the actual structure of the property, the brickwork, and you got the ground beneath it, so that you're protecting yourself in every avenue, because a solicitor will check the location on the purchase, your surveyor is checking the structure and the ground, and then your refurb is changing the internals, so it fully protects you. So just to give some context on that. And then obviously, so you've got your solicitor fees, you've got your refurb fees, you've got your building survey report, stamp duty, obviously taxes, you've got to pay stamp duty on every purchase, and then service fees, which is our fees. So for context on this, when we outline a project, we'll have every fee. So you'll have your purchase, solicitor fee, stamp duty, survey fee, and our fee. The point of getting to is you have all your costs included. So here's the full capital required to make the project happen, to put it simply. So I hope that makes sense. So yeah, here's all your money into the project. And the reason I say that is we expect for this particular project, we expect the GDV, which is the value of the property once renovated, to be 140 grand. So if you've got roughly this amount going into it, like 105 for example, and then you've got a 140 GDV on it, you can expect the actual equity in the property after renovation to be around about 25 to 30 grand, which is quite healthy. You know, if you're buying a rundown property, renovating it and refinancing the back end, that's pretty healthy. And the real way to do this is you're buying it, you're modernising it, you got your equity, but you get, as soon as you've actually completed the purchase, you get it rented out, obviously have cash flow coming in from a tenant, but you also get a 75% loan to value buy-to-let mortgage on the back end, so you can pull most of your money back out. Now, for example, this one we expect to leave about 10 grand in. So when you're getting a 75% loan to value mortgage on the back end, you pull most of the money back out, and you pretty much, you invested, for example, 100k, you get 90k back out, so you've pretty much bought a house for 10 grand, and it's going to cash flow and have equity on the back end. How cool is that? That's the beauty of BR. So I hope that gives some context on BR, and the reason this works for an overview is you're from Cornwall, this is the client now, you're from Cornwall, you've got 100k to invest, you want to build a portfolio, you've got 100k that you can put into this project, for example, 110k, whatever it may be, and then you are literally doing this method, buying something run down, renovating it, increasing the value, getting a new mortgage on the back end to pull most of your money back out, and then once you got your money back out, you can go again. And this is how professionals build a property portfolio, especially in South Wales, but anywhere in the world as well, and they can effectively do it this way. So the third option is the JV option, and to put it bluntly, I know I said that my favourite is the angel option, because it definitely is, but the best way of working with us truly is the joint venture option. A joint venture is where we literally enter into a venture together, which is joint, become business partners, and actually work with us closely, where someone puts in the money to a project, we do the work, and it's a much more advanced level than just the sourcing. Sourcing is just building a portfolio for someone else. They do the work, they put the money in, we just help them and guide them with the team. The joint venture is by far the best way of working with us, because it means that someone puts their money in, we do all the work, and they can literally see their portfolio grow whilst not having to do anything. The paperwork, the work, the decisions, like with business partners, but the whole idea is they put the money in, they fund everything, and we do all the work, and it's literally a business partnership, which is a whole new level to this whole thing. And it's something that it's more in the background, because for context, we only consider joint venture partners or that option with someone after we've worked with them for at least 1 or 2 projects, minimum 1, at least 2 in reality. The reason for that is, as I'm sure a lot of people watching this video know, or whether you're young, old, or whatnot, a business partner can be extremely good and extremely difficult situation to be in. And it takes a lot of time to actually build the trust and actually know that you're on the same page with someone. So my mindset is work with someone at least for 1 project. When problems occur on a project, make sure that it's dealt with in the right way, in a proactive manner, and it's positive. If people start blaming each other and get on negative, blah, 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 it's not a good sign about the character. Because from the sourcing point of view, we actually exist to solve problems. Every day is a new problem coming up on every other project. The whole idea is that we exist to kind of go, hey, Bob, whatever the client's name is, hey, Bob, we got this problem. Okay, here's a solution. We're going to crack on with it. Just so they're aware, but we deal with problems all day. Same with joint venture stuff. There's going to be things come up, and it's kind of how can you rectify it when you have up, downs, etc., etc. Long story short, it's by far one of the best ways of working with us, because it means you're fully leveraging us for us to be able to work effectively and do what we do every day anyway. But it means that we can build a portfolio together. It just means that there's a lot more criteria to hit, if that makes sense. So long story short with the joint venture is we set up an SPV, a special purpose vehicle, which is basically just a limited company. And then someone puts the money in, the client puts the money in, and then we build a portfolio together and we do all the work. Now, typically we do this more of a HMO route / social housing route, so we can have a much more cash flow in lucrative portfolio. And for context, I've got a couple of people I'm working with at the moment in a joint venture manner, and we've got one client who prefers flips, and one who prefers portfolio building. The flip aspect is great because they put the money in, and we're not building a portfolio. Obviously, we're selling because we're flipping, so therefore all we're doing is increasing the capital each time. So they put the money in, and then we do all the work in terms of doing the bigger projects, making, for example, 40k profit per project. So every 9 to 12 months, you've got a top of 40k. You keep building until we hit the end goal of, X amount of capital in the pot. Both take the money back out, and then you have an equal split profits on the back end. It's incredibly lucrative. It's the best option for busy people who have a lot of money, and it's just a good way of working. Exact same proposal with the portfolio building, where someone puts the money in, we do the work, build a portfolio. Difference is that we like joint ventures for life. We love joint ventures where we can just build and keep building. They keep topping up, we keep building, and then you have 50-50 splits on the back end because they're putting the money in. They don't have to do anything apart from just top it up. They know that we're true to our word and actually doing what we're saying we're going to do, and then crack on that way. So hope that gives some context on joint venture stuff. For context, we typically have a bit of a rule of thumb there where if someone's got 400k to invest, because we've got a couple of clients doing that at the moment, 400k to invest, if your portfolio building, you can actually achieve a net monthly income of 5 grand from that investor's point of view. So they put 400 grand into it, and within a fairly short time frame of portfolio building, we can actually have a cash flow from that portfolio of over 5 grand net monthly income, which is quite healthy, which means that we've just created a passive income in the background, and we do all the work, right? And then we're also splitting profits on the back end. Same as flips. They put the money in, and then we do so many flips together that if we're making 40 grand, the company, SPV is making 40 grand per year, then within 3 to 5 years, you've got quite a healthy sum of money coming in. If you've got 20k alongside it each, it's quite a healthy way to work. Like I said, it's by far our best way of working together because it means that we can crack on and do our job best, and then other people can benefit best, but we're a lot more restrictive in the way we work with it. So I just thought I'd end the video on a negative, not a negative, on a bit of criteria setting. And the reason I do that is I just want to be really, really upfront in terms of the criteria that we work with and able to actually work with people quite well. So with option number 1 with agent investing, typically it works best where we have someone who's got 50k. That's kind of the ideal number. It works best because it means we can just crack on with them, just do a direct loan with them, and it makes things simple. It's not set, like we have a few clients investing 25 to 30k at the moment, and we can discuss that if needed. With sourcing clients, we're looking at around about 100k mark to work with them. With joint venture clients, we're looking at least 300k to work with them. So long story short of this segment at the end of the video is to say, look, if you fit within those parameters of 25 to 50k, around about 100k, or 300 to 400k and more, reach out to us, booking a call. There's absolutely no pressure on these calls. The whole reason of booking a call with us is literally just to diagnose where you are and what option you're looking at and which one best suits your needs, and to fact find, to be honest with you. There's I didn't create what I created to force people to do what they didn't want to do. It's more of a case of saying, look, how can we help you do what you want to do anyway? And then just help you, pretty much. We help at least 150 people a year from different avenues. We've, like I said, we've currently got clients in Asia, Dubai, lots in London. 80% of our clients are in London. We've got quite a few down Bournemouth way at the moment, and Cornwall as well, and a couple of Scotland. So it's pretty much everyone from anywhere. So if you want to reach out to booking a call to either build your portfolio, get returns on your money, or joint venture with us, then be sure to reach out. I'll put a link in the description to the video to basically help you book a call if needed, if you want. And again, there's no pressure on the calls. It's just to kind of say, hey, who are you? Where are you from? How can we help you? And go from there. So if you like this video, it helped you at all, like and subscribe, and speak to you guys soon.